Kyle, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to
No
do a
problem, man.
quick interview with me. So I don't want to waste too much of your time. Super valuable. We're just going to jump right into it. So you can correct me as we go along. I got Kyle
Sure.
with me. You've been in real estate for 8 years right now so far.
This will be
Uh,
year number 9. Yep.
this will be number 9. Congrats. You've been the #1 real estate agent for Keller Williams the last 3 years, 3 years.
4. You're
4.
shorting me, bro.
You're
You're
coming
one
for
year
the
off on everything.
you're coming for the fourth ring, huh?
No, this has already got 4. I already have the 4th ring. I would be going for the 5th.
Gotcha. All right. Congrats to that.
Thank you.
Right now you serve Rhode Island and the southeast of Massachusetts. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep, Rhode Island, Southeastern Mass.
Gotcha. And I think recently you just started your own show, Everything Real Estate, where you educate buyers, sellers.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal of it. It's called All Things Real Estate, and the point of it is to educate buyers, educate sellers, and just bring on different people that can add value, like lenders and attorneys and other agents, whatever we could do to add value.
Gotcha. All right, just a little bit about me and what I do. My name is Kuyan. I'm started a digital marketing agency. We started off very broad, just working with anybody. And then I want to go into kind of the real estate realm. So that's what we've been focusing on for the last year or so. So I actually started a program called Agent Evolve, where we take agents through being very, I don't want to say ignorant, but I'm sure you can kind of lay your own little perspective over this. But, we were taught a different way in terms of when, traditional real estate and then what real estate is like today, right now, modern. And obviously, I think it's important, just as, you think it's important for people to understand, what has changed in between, because I feel like it just kind of got mixed up. There's a little bit of modern new stuff going on, and then there's just a lot of old stuff going on. Do you want to touch base on that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I think real estate is probably the most fragmented market around right now. I think you have a lot of people who still live by the brick and mortar philosophy. That's really old school. They're not in the digital age. They're kind of behind the 8 ball. And I think that's why I've thrived so much is I basically said, hey, let's be a student of the game, right? So I'm an athlete at heart. That's where I came up in, right? So I came up in basketball. That was my thing. And I always learned to study the game, understand the players, and understand the people you want to emulate. If you can do that, then you can try to be the best in your craft because you can take a little bit away from everybody. But what happens in real estate is we have a lot of dinosaurs that really haven't changed their ways. But the good news is, thank God for the dinosaurs, because if they didn't exist, there would be no me. Because those dinosaurs, they set that delta so far apart. Like I'm able to do so well because the competition is like me playing against 6-year-olds. Right? At the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'm playing as a 12-year-old against 6-year-olds. It's not a fair competition. But I like that. I appreciate that. And I'm going to continue to evolve and grow. And I'm on top of all this stuff. Like everything that's going on, I get it. I understand it. And there's either a reason I do it or I don't do it. Nothing that I do is just guesswork.
Love it. Yeah. So, like I said, you've been a real estate agent for the last 8 years. I'm sure you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. Would you be able to kind of, since this show is based around just evolving out of, your primitive self, give me an example or walk me through a time where, things were super challenging for you and you were just like, dude, I don't even think I'm going to make it. And you somehow just pulled out of it and you're like, give me a little story on that.
I tell this story. I've told this story, I should say, a few times. So one of my best friends coming up, this is my guy. We were friends since we were 12. And, you would think someone like that would always be on your back and always have your side, right? So you come into real estate game and you're just getting started. So I'm 1 or 2 years in. And, he's looking for a house. I'm like, cool. So I figured I'm going to help him out. It's a no-brainer. We get to the first appointment. And it was okay. It's him and his wife. And then the second appointment, they cancel. And they're like, we're going to use somebody else. They're like, we don't think you're cut out for this business. This just isn't really for you. We think we want somebody who does a better job. So we're going to go with so-and-so.
Wow.
So that was like a gut check for me, right? Because you can't land your best friend that you're in his wedding, he's in your wedding. Year 2 in the business, they're telling you you're not good at it. I mean, that's really hard to come back. Like, what do you say? You know what I mean? You're like, hey, this is my guy. He knows me really well. And they're not even going to use me to buy their house. Like, damn. And now I got to go get strangers that don't know me from a hole in the wall. Now you have to use me to buy your house. And that to me was like, I said it before, like my first 9 or 10 years. So I'm like year 9 right now, right? The first 9 years in this business was to prove somebody wrong. I said that stuck in my head every day. The next 10 are to prove everybody else right. The people that support me and got my back, it's my turn to prove them right. So that's kind of where I'm at. I've evolved from that kind of chip on my shoulder to now like the carrying the weight of a lot of other people. And really that's a positive approach, which I'm excited about because that's a whole different level.
100%. And that's why you're on this call with me today, because obviously I noticed you, right? There's a lot of real estate agents right there. LinkedIn, Facebook, there's a lot of real estate agents everywhere, and everybody looks the same, right? The reason why you're on this call today is because I've realized through my marketing, like what I do through marketing and just talking to a bunch of different real estate agents that, you know, you weren't like everybody else, right? I don't know if you remember, but I hit you up on LinkedIn as soon as we connected. I hit you with that voice message. I don't know if you remember that. You might not. Totally cool if you don't. But that's my way of saying, hey, listen, I'm different, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants the same approach. Because the result, everybody's going to be like, hey, listen, this guy's just like everybody else, right? So I love that.
Of insanity, you do the same thing over and over again. So it becomes an insane process, right? I mean, I try to differentiate myself, and I can deal with, that's what I think's helped me become successful, my ability to be a chameleon. I can deal with someone from a 70-year-old, you know, white lady in the suburbs, and then a 25-year-old Spanish dude from the hood. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I treat everybody the same, man. I came from that. Like, I played, like, that's what I'm from. That's what I know. But I also understand the value of being able to differentiate yourself in different environments and being able to add value with different people and not being the same all the time. Can't do that.
No, you can't. You won't survive. You just literally won't survive in the real estate game. You just won't. I think obscurity is just one of the biggest things when it comes down to real estate. The fact that nobody knows you, you're not important or anything like that. And the more you push that mindset on yourself and just don't do anything about it to fix that, you'll stay in that boat. So let's backtrack real quick. Question for you is, how important was it for you to start implementing just marketing methods, digital marketing methods within your organization? And what did it do for your business?
That was a game changer. My ability to understand where the market was going and where the consumer goes and how the consumer gets eyeballs on a product or a commodity. We're a commodity, right? A real estate agent's a commodity. 5 million of us. How do you separate yourself is to be in front of people, to get more eyeballs, to get more touches, to get more opportunities, to get more phone calls. And that's all digital right now. If you're not in the digital marketing space, then you're way behind. Like, I'm going to eat your lunch because you just don't have a chance. Like, you're not there, right? So, I mean, everything is social media based. That's what people spend their time on. Everything is on your phone. Everything is on like, no, the print ad stuff, that stuff's old. That stuff doesn't make sense. So you got to evolve with the times. And guess what? In 10 years, it'll change again. But it's the ones that continue to change that win. The losers are the ones that don't change with the time.
Exactly. Let me ask you, do you still do newsletters in your marketing strategy? Do you still do the door knocking? Do you still do the cold calling?
So
ever since you transition into the digital kind of marketing method?
Yeah, I mean, so what I do is I sprinkle that in. I take a spaghetti approach, and I say, I'm going to take a whole lot of spaghetti. I'm going to throw it against the wall, whatever sticks I'm going to use. So the newsletters, we tweaked it a little bit. It's me talking. I have like a 1-minute little recap on the market. We plug that into the newsletter. We make it a little more digital so people can understand. We have a client testimonial on there. So we change it up. As far as like the cold calls, I don't do them, but I have virtual assistants in the Philippines that do them because it's an avenue to get in front of people. It's not a good use of my time. My time should be when folks engage in the process. That's when I need to go to. That's my game time. That's the stage, right? So I do that stuff, but I don't. it's not a big part of my business. My business diversified enough where I have so many different avenues. That's what I do.
Gotcha. 100%. So you would say that the name of the game is just leveraging, right? Leveraging, other people's time, leveraging, these digital tools so that you can go out and do what you do best, which is, showing and selling property, right?
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game is and the ability for someone to focus on income generating tasks. When you focus on things that bring revenue in the door, you will always succeed. When you focus on expense items and line items, you will fail because you're failing to understand the value of that revenue. Without the revenue, there's no need for expenses. Too many people get focused on the expenses, but they don't have the revenue coming in. You can't have you don't have a bottom line without a top line.
Right.
Right. So I definitely see the value of, if I can send someone to do a job for $15, what allows me to make $4,000 in the same hour, why would I go do the $15 job?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Does not.
But too many people get caught up in not wanting to pay the guy $15 that they'll never go for that $4,000 job.
Right. Because it'll never relieve them of that time.
Correct. Time's one commodity you don't get back.
Yes, sir. Agreed. So I see a lot of ambition in you. Where does your success come from? Where does that come from? I know you mentioned earlier about that chip on your shoulder and all that. I can imagine that's like, you know what I mean? Like that hits home, and then you just have that ambition just to do extremely well and better than other people. But you have kids and all that. What exactly drives you?
I have 2 kids. I have the white mamba, man. It's like a mentality. I mean, I can't, I mean, if you know what that means and you know what that's about, I mean, no matter if it's basketball, if it's fishing, if it's ice skating, that Mamba mentality, like you can't teach that. You can get it a little bit and you can try to get it, but you either have that or you don't. I have 2 daughters, 7 and 4, and
Wow.
I want to put them in a good position to understand the value of hard work, but at the same time understand that, I'm trying to build a legacy for these guys, and they won't even know what I'm going to leave behind because there'll be so many layers of it, right? It's layer on layer on layer. And if these guys can be set straight and be set for life, then that's what it's all about. And if I could start it with me and then build it from me and be that pioneer, I mean, that's real right there, right? That's the white mamba. That's what it's all about. And that laser focus comes with a lot of sacrifice, though.
100%.
That's something people don't want to give. They don't want to give that time, effort, and energy.
Right. So let's build on that real quick. Your legacy, what does that look like? Do you want to be known as just the guy, the number one real estate guy in, Massachusetts? Are you planning on building a building? Like, what is your dream? How far does your dream extend?
Yeah, it's way bigger than that. I mean, I'm looking for what I call the real estate triple crown. And what that is the top realtor in the country. Last year, 2019, I was RealTrend's #1 agent in the world, right? So that was my first goal. Be the top realtor in the country. I never thought I could get that. Second goal is now to be the best coach in the world. I got a coaching gig at Century 21. They brought me in to be the coach for the whole country, so for all their agents. So that's number 2.
Wow.
And then the third one is to be the top broker with the biggest brokerage in the United States and in the world. So those 3 things, if you can do that, I'm basically going to become the real estate Jesus. And if I can become the real estate Jesus, I think that's a legacy that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, dude, I support you 100%. I see what you're doing. I see the movement, so keep at it, man. You got it.
Trying, man, trying. Yeah. We gotta start somewhere. If you gotta have those plans, or if you ain't got the goals or the plans, you ain't gonna get there. So you have to have that.
100%. So real quick, if somebody's trying to get into real estate, let's just say a young professional, young woman, young gentleman, and they think that real estate's gonna be that outlet for them, what would you tell them coming into the game?
I would say don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted and don't do it for the wrong reasons. The wrong reason is that you want to have a flexible schedule. The wrong reason is that you want to have time to do things. The wrong reason is that you want to chase money. The right reason is you want to help people. You want to be great at what you do. You have a passion for it. You understand it, and you want to be the best at it. So what I would say is don't get caught up in the short-term fix. Understand that it's a long-term game. It's a snail. It can be somewhat of a snail's pace, but if you continue at it and you drive and you grind and you go out every day, you're going to get good at it. but too many people do it. If I hear one more person call me and like, oh, I'm gonna be a realtor so I can have work-life balance, like I don't know what that is. I'm talking to you Sunday night at 7:30.
Right.
Fuck's work-life balance.
Doesn't exist. If you work, if you know what it is, you know what it is to grind and hustle. The time that stuff doesn't exist. Just doesn't exist.
But my thing is that, and you probably get where I'm coming from. Like, so many people say they grind. You don't even know what grinding is. You don't know how to grind. Grinding isn't working. What you think you grind. You think you work hard. You think you go after it. You don't really go after it. Like, it's just the reality. Like, not a lot of people really grind.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's hard. Because it's hard, man. That shit's hard. This is not easy. Like, you gotta like you. I'm not. Last night I'm working. Like, I'm here. I'm at my house. I'm working on the laptop. 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11 is Saturday. Tonight I gotta work. I gotta get up tomorrow. I was up at 6 today, 6 yesterday. Like, that's a grind. I can't go out and get blasted and try to wake up at 6.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't work.
Right.
That's okay. If you want to make 50 grand, that's okay.
Right.
But that's what I'm here to do. I didn't put all this time in to do that. So I think the hard part is that people don't understand that it really is a lot bigger than what people think. And the word grind, we throw it around too easy. We throw around hard work. We throw around all that stuff way too easy. I think there's very limited population that actually grind.
Mm-hmm. So out of like all the real estate that you sold so far, give me an idea of, the hardest like transaction that you had to like kind of push through. You didn't really know, like, that it was going to go through or whatever the case is, like, and you knew you had a lot of money on the line. And if this didn't go through, you're just going to be super upset. Give me
probably a big commercial deal I had way in the beginning, probably like my 3rd year in, working with this Indian guy out of New York. And I didn't know, I've never worked with Indians before, so I didn't really know how. I mean, there's a very different strategy with their business sometimes. And that's not stereotypical, that's to be real.
Sure.
Other Indians in business and real estate are very stringent. Picked up an Indian client, he wanted to buy a $1.6 million building. I never did anything that big. That was huge for me. It was a big commission. It was like 40-something K. He pushed me to the brink. The seller didn't want to work with us. It was commercial. They like to double end. So I really had to battle through the entire deal. I had to battle as far as to find who the seller was, to try to track them down, to make sure they actually got our offer, because my boss didn't believe the offer was getting submitted. So I had to do everything to help this guy, to prove to him that I would do whatever it takes to help him get this property. Now, we got the property, but to make matters worse, the other realtor didn't pay. He stole the entire commission, and I had to go to court. So instead of getting 40-something thousand in commission, I went to court with a $30,000 attorney bill, and I walked away with 10 G's.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting, man.
Oh my gosh.
I want to blast the guy in his face, like absolutely blast him. And we went through mediation. We did everything to try to figure it out, and he just would not pay the money. He would not pay it. So, you got to learn from that, right? So you got to learn from, hey, everyone's not trustworthy. There's a lot of snakes out there, snakes in the grass. You got to watch out.
Sure. And what did that teach you going forward? Like, what did you take with you going forward, besides the fact that you couldn't, trust everybody?
Nah, I think what it taught me was, it's not about the money. It's about how much I put in the time, effort, and energy for that client. Yeah, it's the principle, man. It's the principle. Principle of that deal was, I could have went 2 ways. Like, I could have let that negativity really bother me when I knew I wasn't getting paid. I had to let it roll off my shoulder and then move on with the rest of my transactions. So it's a principle that, things happen for a reason. You learn lessons and you move on. But all negativity needs to be, you kind of need to brush it off.
100%. 100%. Kyle, we're coming up on that time. Can you still hear me? Hear me all right?
Yeah. It was a phone call. I called.
No, sorry. You're good. We got 5 more minutes, so I figured I'd just shoot this stuff with you real quick. So yeah, man, tell me about that show. I love the show, dude. I've been watching it. What got you inspired to do the show?
I mean, so I was going to get into coaching, and I said, okay, how do I get into coaching? I would be good at a camera. right? If I can't be able to be in front of people, or I used to be nervous. Like I was never able to really talk in public. I was never able to be on camera. So like, let me give this a shot. They reached out to me and said they want to do a real estate show. Would you like to be on it? I was like, cool, let's give it a shot. So we gave it a shot. I like it, man. Every Wednesday, every week, we go out there, we tape it up, and honestly, a lot of people like it. A lot of the people that watch it, and I get good feedback, and it brings, for whatever reason, whenever you get on TV, you now become instantly credible, right? You could have said the same exact thing a million times, but once it's on TV, they're like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Right? And I do some TV ad stuff. Like I'm on like some other shows where it's like even a 2-minute clip, and they're like, I get calls from that. I'm like, just because of that 1-minute ad, really? Like, come on, guys. But you build credibility. It's instant credibility. And I think you can't change that. I mean, that's whatever that is in people's head when they see people on TV. You know, these guys are credible.
Yeah, 100%. So once again, if you got value from this video, give me a like. If you have some feedback, give me a comment below. Once again, this is your boy Q with Agent Evolve. And until next time, keep evolving.